Morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 136. Please subscribe. Today's lesson is not as long as yesterday, so it's good. Good news. Today's lesson is sickness is a defense against the truth. Now, there are overtones from yesterday's lesson into today's lesson. We'll mention some of those of you. If you happen to have forgotten that yesterday's lesson was, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I'm really attacking the truth with sickness. Sickness is the most used weapon in the ego's arsenal, and we find that very easy to comprehend and to accept, because sickness is all associated with the body, and the body is the home of the ego. So when we seem to be ill, not feeling well, sick, then all of our attention goes to our body and what's it doing, how's it feeling, will I get better? And this keeps us away from the truth of who we really are. The previous lesson of the first 50 that I'm blending with today is lesson 35. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy, and I cannot imagine myself believing that I am holy and believing that I am also not well. So today's lesson begins, no one can heal unless he understands what purpose sickness seems to serve. For then he understands as well its purpose has no meaning, because it is an illusion coming from an illusion. Being causeless and without a meaningful intent of any kind, it cannot be at all. When this is seen, healing is automatic. This would be when we change our thoughts about something, it's going to change. It dispels the meaningful illusion by the same approach that carries all of them to truth. It takes what the truth does, okay, to dispel any illusion. The truth gathers them up and lays them down, and there they simply disappear, because they have no cause anymore and they have no meaning. Without a cause, without a meaning, without a function, nothing lives, nothing is. Today's lesson continues. Sickness is not an accident like all defenses. It is an insane device of self-deception. That's self-deception, keeping me from thinking and knowing who I am. And for this, I'm going to go to the first paragraph from lesson 35, and it says, today's idea, my mind is part of God's, I'm very holy. Today's idea does not describe the way you see yourself now. It does, however, describe what vision will show you. It is difficult for anyone who thinks he is in this world to believe this of himself, that he's very holy and we're part of God's mind. Yet the reason he thinks he is in this world is because he does not believe it. I don't believe I'm part of God's mind. And so if I don't believe I'm part of God's mind, well, I must be part of something. So I decide I am part of the ego, and my body proves to me that I am an ego-based thought. Defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. They are secret magic wands you wave when truth appears to threaten what you would believe. If the truth is coming towards me and I don't want to believe it, then I have to have a device to push it away. That is what sickness is. If I believe that I can't possibly be this thing, that I'm part of God's mind, then if I decide I am not well, I see myself as little and less than, that will certainly prove to me that I cannot be what this book, this course is telling me I should be, or that I really am, not should. When defenses are not unintentional or made without awareness, they wands we wave when truth appears to threaten what you would believe or what you don't want to believe. And my little go-to for this is whenever, and I've done it, I know so many people who have, when you tell them something and they can't quite believe it, their answer is, Yes, but. Yes, but. And that but is pushing things away. The truth that seems too outrageous and too all encompassing. And there's no way that can possibly be my truth. The next paragraph says, who but yourself evaluates a threat, which is your awakening, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat that has been judged as real, this awakening threat, this finding out who I really am threat. All this cannot be done unconsciously, but afterwards, your plan requires that you must forget you made it. So it seems to be external to your own extent. It is this quick forgetting of the part that you play in making your reality. It's those veils of forgetfulness that fall over us so we don't remember what it is we did. Defenses must make facts unrecognizable. They aim at doing this, and it is this they do. And every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole that is not there. Now, in previous years, I've used this, a kaleidoscope as a metaphor for this, that the pieces are all there. But then we keep turning the one end, and they keep changing to the point that they're unrecognizable from where they started. And that is what defenses do. They move the pieces around so that we cannot recognize the truth. Sickness is a decision. It is not a thing that happens to you quite unsought, which makes you weak and brings you suffering. It is a choice you make, a plan you lay, when for an instant truth arises in your own deluded mind, and all your world appears to totter and prepare to fall. The ego is now going to push away this truth. It's going to make sure that we don't accept the truth. The ego doesn't want us to accept the truth or the truth of our awakening. And what the ego does then with this sickness is it proves that the body is not separate from you, and so you must be separate from the truth. There's always that choice. Am I the body or am I the truth? Well, the sickness makes me believe that I am the body. And now, just to go back to 35 for a moment, the idea for today that my mind is part of God's is very different view of yourself. By establishing your source, your big S source, from whence we came, it establishes your identity, big I, and it describes you as you must really be in truth. How I must really be in truth is not a body. But with this, the idea of the sickness and how I become involved with it. And this, I understand this lesson is really difficult for anyone who is really dealing with a long-term condition. But the hopeful thing in this lesson is telling us that there can be a shift in that condition. I'm not going to say it's going to be an instantaneous healing, although it could be. But the way it is viewed will become different, which is many people, I've read many stories and have heard and had friends tell me that when they contracted a cancer or an HIV or some other disease, ultimately they found out it was the best thing that happened to them because it changed how they thought about the body and about who they were, and it might have been what propelled them onto their spiritual path. And all of that is possible. God knows not of your plans to change who we are. In paragraph 10, though, to go back for a moment, it says, such is your planning for your own defense. Now, yesterday's lesson, we read that a healed mind doesn't plan. So this planning for our defense, or really our demise, all comes from the ego mind. What is wholly sinless cannot sin. Such is the simple truth. Truth merely waits to give you happiness, for such is its purpose. Perhaps it sighs a little when you throw away its gifts and yet it knows with perfect certainty that what God wills for you must be received and will be received. Sickness is a defense. Time is another defense. Time is but another meaningless defense you made against the truth, yet what God wills is here, and you remain as He created you. Remember that lesson, I am as God created me. Practicing for today are two 15-minute segments, and we go into that and we ask, and truth will come as you go in and just let your mind be quiet and free. Truth will come, for it has never been apart from you. So we've never been apart from truth, just as we've never been apart from God. It merely waits for just this invitation which we give today. We introduce it with a healing prayer to help rise above our defensiveness and let truth be as it always has been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. It says healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. Our mind will be healed, and it will be healed of all of our sickly wishes that think we must be unwell. The body, when we come out of these meditations, practicing, the body should not feel at all if we've been at all successful. If you have been successful, there's no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, of pain or pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains and nothing more. The body is a wholly neutral thing, which is a lesson still to come. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather, or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made to made it serve before. You need do nothing but to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. When we heal our mind, there's no way for illness to come into the body. And then we have our little prayer lines for the end, or for any temptation. So give an instant remedy should anything occur that makes us confused or feel less, by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you longer. Do not be confused about what must be healed. We know it's the mind. I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth, but I am not a body, and my mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. That's it for today. I just want to leave you with one line that I wrote, I'm guessing I found it in my notes. Time will end, the body will be cast aside, but you will remain. Remember that. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment, please pray. Pray for this truth to come to every mind. And for every mind that believes now that it is not well, let that mind let in a little more light for all of us to heal. We heal together. Namaste.